Good evening, everyone. Today I will show you my favorite routine. There are many different things, complex things, and there's always something you get wrong. So that's why I think it's fun to practice this routine. This will not be a tutorial video, but this will be more about tips, tricks, and important aspects. And as you saw in the performance, we have 3 different phases. The first one is more about powerful and visual card magic, color changes. The second phase is about flourishes, and the third phase is some cool stuff and some wrap up. So that's what we will go through today. So you basically start with any card, in this case the 6. You show this hand empty, and on the way back you put the card on top. You steal this card, you make the first color change, and then you move directly into a palm change in order to change it back. And then afterwards you turn over the double, you put that card into the middle, and of course you can do a card spin in between, but then you can go into the card dribble like that. And then I like to go into the card spring like that, bend back, and then we can do a top shot, and then at the end we open up and shoot it back in, and of course we want to catch it. And that's what I mean by you always get something wrong. So that's what we will go through today, and I will show you some tips and tricks. So for the first trick, it's a color change by Suriano, and basically there are 4 important aspects. It's the arc movement, a Cardini change, the use of your pinky, and then align the cards. And what I mean by that is that you turn over a card, you grab it with your thumb and your index, and this is the arc you want to have. So you want to show this hand empty, and on the way back you put it back. So in between you use your pinky to do a Cardini type of change where you peel down the top card and let it rest on your fingers. So as this hand comes back, it's hidden, so you can do that, and then you put this card on top while you're grabbing this card with this part of your pinky and with your thumb, because then you can align the card like that and the color change is done. So the important aspect is to get this arc movement right, because once you have done that, on the way back you just do that, put it, change the grip, and then align, open up. So there's the first one. And now we continue. So after you have 2 cards, we move into the palm change, and basically you start with a break of the cards, and what you're going to do is that you're going to switch the grip in order to have your thumb on top and this ring finger here. So this ring finger here has a bit of flesh touching the card below the 5, and what this is going to do is that it's going to push out the card like that. So this is the secret motion you do while this hand is covering, because what this enables you to do is after you do that, you leave these corners free in order to palm the card with your pinky and your palm, something like that. So you have it, move it out, palm it, you see this corner and this corner, and then it's basically about alignment. Move up, open up. So that's the palm change. Move out, grab, and then back, open up. After the color changes, we basically just take the double and we turn it over. And what I like to do is the card spin. So basically you balance the card in the middle, with your middle finger like this, and then this index is basically pivoting like that. So pivot with some force and while maintaining the balance, and then you can spin the card like that. So you spin it and then you put it into the middle. And after that we can move into the card dribble. And this is basically mostly about grip, index finger and thumb release. And it looks something like this. So you just dribble down the cards like that. And the grip is to have your thumb on this corner, pinky on this corner, these ring and middle finger, something like this. But the important thing I would say is this index finger here, because this is going to apply a bit of pressure towards the upper part of the whole cards. And basically then it's only about releasing with your thumb. So you practice your sensitivity in order to dribble down like that. And the catching part is basically this straddle grip with your pinky pointing up. So then you can and after we have done the dribble, we can move into the card spring. And I think I will change to this deck, perhaps it's easier. And the card spring is also about grips. So you hold the cards like this with your thumb on this corner and your middle finger on this corner. And the secret here is about the hand strength and the muscle, because you're going to bend the card. And then basically your thumb is going to slowly release and open up. So once your finger strength is up and you practice the release, then you slowly get it in. So for me it took like a week, because in the beginning it looks like this. And once the strength is up, you can control the release. And same with the dribble, you catch it with this straddle grip like that. And then okay. And after the dribble and the springing, if you recall, we had a double and then we put that card into the middle. We do everything like that, but the spectator will still remember this king. And we move over to the Topshot, and this one is a quite difficult move, but I would say it's all about this grip. So thumb and index holding the card like that, and then basically it's about pinky strength. So the pinky does that. So what I recommend is that in the beginning you just peel down the cards one by one, because you need to force this grip to feel normal. And this is not a comfortable grip at all to begin with, but if you just practice your pinky strength like that, you will get to a point where you can eventually shoot out the cards a bit. And then you try to catch it. So after doing this for like a week and a few thousand times, then your strength will go up, and basically you only need to practice the catching. And the catching is quite simple once you get hold of it. It's just open up and then close. And this is a quite cool move. Not that difficult to get in. So if you are willing to do this for like 2 weeks and just practice, then you will get hold of that. So that's the top shot. So once the spectator has seen the top card go into the middle and then shot out, then we want to end everything by shooting this back into the deck. And what we're going to do there is something called the backdrop. And since this hand is going to do a so-called Charlier cut, this is how the Charlier cut looks like, but it's not going to do a full Charlier cut yet. So with this straddle grip, we let half of the deck drop down. We do the Charlier cut, but instead of closing it up, we just move our thumb back in order for this half to be up like that, because we're going to grab the card like a sandwich later. So that's what this hand does, like that. And while this hand moves into something called or something looking like that, and if you are familiar with the back palm to make the card vanish, it's basically similar. You just curl in your ring finger and middle finger, and you grab the card with your outer fingers, and then you open up. But instead of bending it like that, you just let it rest like that. And then it's about a release process where you let go of the pinky first, and then so the card can flip this way. So you have that card, you move into the backdrop position with the back palm like that, you open up with the Charlier cut, and then you practice the dropping it into. And this was a quite difficult move to get in, but after a few weeks you can get a feel of it. So just practice that. Open up and shooting it, and then grabbing. And basically that is it. And to summarize, I think this is a quite fun sequence because it involves so many different things. You start with a visual color change where you actually show this hand empty, and on the way back you put it there, so people expect nothing in this hand, and then you get the amazing effect of the color change. So now when no one is expecting anything here, you move into the palm change and then change it back. So quite nice effect. And with the double, you do a flourish, you put it into the middle. Everyone thinks the jack went into the middle, but they still remember the jack. And then we move into the dribbling, and then the springing. We bend it back a bit, and then since they still remember the jack, we're going to shoot it out and we're going to catch it. Yeah, I cannot even catch it, but you get the point. And then at the end we close up everything by opening up and then shooting it back. And that's a nice way to clean up the trick. Okay, thank you all.